I'm Nathan Cones, here with your look at the midday news for this Tuesday, August 25th, 2026. The Carroll Community School District Board of Education is delaying the decision on moving forward with a bond referendum for the district's long-term facility plan and their goals with that. It wasn't an issue with any of the preparation work. Rather, it was an issue with public notification for the meeting. School officials realized as they met at 11:30 this morning that they hadn't properly put out notice for the meeting to take place. So in order to correct that, they're actually moving the meeting to tomorrow at noon. It'll be over at Adams Elementary. Of course, that'll be open to the public. Should be a relatively quick one. But the question on the ballot or for the agenda is the same, whether to move forward with a $51 million referendum for the November 3rd ballot. We'll have more details on that, of course, once that meeting is held tomorrow, again at noon over at Adams Elementary. Looking elsewhere, the Carroll City Council hosted a public hearing during last night's meeting on the plans, specifications, form of contract, and estimated cost for the proposed infrastructure work at the West Gulfview subdivision, eventually voting 4-2 to send the project out for bidding. JEO Consulting first prepared infrastructure estimates nearly 2 years ago at approximately $1.9 million. At the time, the infrastructure was overbuilt to prepare for possible further development west of the Carroll Municipal Golf Course. The potential for additional expansions fell through, so the infrastructure designs were scaled back to an estimated $1.25 million. City Manager Aaron Koiker says various factors in the construction industry, such as material costs, labor availability, and inflation, have pushed the estimate to $1.39 million, but a proposed bid alternate, estimated at $1.27 million, could bring the cost closer to that original estimate.
Before us, we have the proposed plans and specs for the Gulfview subdivision for the public improvements that the city has made the agreement to put in. At this time, we are requesting the approval of the specs so that we can put this out to bid and then find out what the actual bid numbers are so that we can have a document to find out what the costs are.
The council voted in April 4-2 to approve a development agreement with Kirchhoff Craftsman Incorporated to sell 4.5 acres of public land on the golf course's western edge for $750,000, with the city to leverage those funds with money out of the local option sales tax fund to install the required infrastructure, including water, sewer, curb and gutter, a lift station, and more. Ward 1 Councilman Jason Atherton says the city's investment in the project, including design fees, is approaching $750,000.
So we originally went into this with a $500,000 investment. We're now looking at the estimate, $274,814 above what we thought this was going to come in at already, which is 54% just on the estimate alone that we're getting. So my biggest question is, how is this going to affect the TIF repayment schedule?
While additional costs would lengthen the time frame for the city to recoup its investment, Koiker says recent changes to Iowa law give cities more leeway for residential construction.
We have already looked at the urban renewal dollars with the same assumptions that we had prior. And with the new TIF laws, if you remember, we were anticipating that it would take us 15 years to repay it. So with the new TIF laws, which removes the LMI portion out of requiring to take TIF, and what we are figuring with these dollar amounts, the repayment's going to be around, it's actually 13 and a half, so we have to go into our 14th year in this. With the new change in TIF laws, it reduces it by a year.
Ward 2 Councilwoman Deb Koster asked what has changed in the past few months for the estimate to increase by nearly 10%. Noah Dryden, project manager with JEO, says they were very conservative with their most recent estimates, and the council will have more discretion once bids are opened.
We have tried to remain conservative with our estimate rather than favorable pricing that may or may not materialize on bid day. However, we have seen more competitive bid environment. That's a reality. We've seen contractors get a little more hungry. We've seen better numbers, and we've seen more bids than what we have in the past, which gives us the belief that we will have favorable bids, and again, we can see them on bid day.
The council voted 4-2, Atherton and Koster voting no, to approve the plans, specifications, form of contract, and estimated cost for the Gulfview infrastructure. With that approval, JEO will move forward with soliciting bids this week, with the projected bid letting on September 21st. Depending on the favorability of those bids, construction could begin as early as this fall. Most likely, work would start next spring, with completion around mid-year. Video from this section of Monday's Carroll City Council meeting is included with this story on our website. One person was killed and another seriously injured in a two-vehicle accident yesterday afternoon in Crawford County. According to the Iowa State Patrol, the crash occurred at approximately 2:50 p.m. at the intersection of U.S. Highway 30 and Chamberlain Drive in Denison. The initial investigation found that a 2015 Lexus ES350, operated by 33-year-old Mohit Kailashandra Sharma of Denison, was traveling westbound on the highway and began turning south onto Chamberlain. As Sharma completed the turn, his vehicle was struck on the passenger side by an eastbound 1990 Peterbilt semi-tractor trailer driven by 72-year-old Michael Leonard Krajic of Denison. Sharma was seriously injured in the crash and was later airlifted to the University of Nebraska Medical Center in Omaha, Nebraska. His passenger, 29-year-old Mehul Kumar Patel of Denison, was pronounced dead at the scene. Krajic did not report significant injuries following that crash. The Denison Police Department, Denison Fire Department, and Crawford County Sheriff's Office also assisted at that scene yesterday. The accident does remain under investigation. And we do need to step away here for just a moment. Don't go anywhere. More news coming up after this on KCIM.
Harvest doesn't wait, and neither should you. When every hour in the field counts, count on Haley Equipment to keep your MacDon Draper running strong. Haley Equipment has a great selection of MacDon Draper parts in stock, including knives and guards, belts, wear parts, replacement components, and more. Stop into Haley Equipment in Carroll and Rockwell City and get the parts you need to keep your harvest moving. 2 locations, 1 commitment, keeping you in the field. Haley Equipment, your MacDon Harvest headquarters.
Overboard!
Hey, it's not like it's a person. What's the big deal?
What? That was our only package of Village Hearth old-fashioned buns.
We may as well toss the hot dogs, too. Head for the shore.
Don't let soggy buns put a damper on your lake day. Practice food safety.
Village Hearth, in the land of 10,000 lakes, there's only one bun for your summertime fun.
Welcome back to KCIM's Midday News. I'm Nathan Cones reporting. Republican gubernatorial nominee Zach Lane and his campaign will bring him to the listening area today for a meet and greet event. There's a similar event going on about right now-ish in Shelby County, and then Lane is on his way to Audubon County for a public forum. He'll be there at 12:30. That Shelby County event's probably done now. He's on the road to Audubon, I should say. That's over at the Audubon Rec Center at 703 Southside Avenue today at 12:30 p.m. Lane is facing off against Democratic gubernatorial nominee Rob Sand, who was in Audubon last Thursday for a similar event. He closed out Thursday's campaign schedule here in Carroll that evening and drew a pretty impressive crowd of 230 people. Another sign that it's likely to be a pretty close race come November. Carroll Broadcast will bring you more from Lane's event in upcoming newscasts, so do keep an eye out for that. Iowa health officials are working to track and contain a growing measles outbreak in south central Iowa, confirmed by the Iowa Department of Health and Human Services. Over the past 7 weeks, cases have grown from a single case to now 17 confirmed cases as of August 24th. Most patients in exposure locations have been in or near Davis, Polk, Dallas, Warren, Madison, and Wapello counties. A list of the specific locations HHS identified is included with this story on our website. Measles symptoms include fever, cough, runny nose, red or watery eyes, and a rash. People who believe they may have been exposed and develop symptoms should call a healthcare provider or emergency room prior to their arrival, according to officials, to avoid exposing others. State health officials did urge people who are unvaccinated or uncertain of their immunity to discuss the MMR vaccine with a healthcare professional or their local public health agency. Measles is highly contagious, but generally not considered dangerous except for young children, pregnant women, and people with compromised immune systems. Current cases in Iowa exceed the prior 2 decades combined, including the smaller 2025 outbreak. Prior to last year, Iowa averaged fewer than 2 cases per year. More information on measles is available via the link included with this story on our website. Iowans are being warned about rising numbers of fake employment scams. Keisha Duncan, spokeswoman for the Better Business Bureau, says con artists are especially targeting college students and young adults who are looking for work.
If you take a job, the next thing they want to know is what's your bank account number and routing number so that they can pay you. Well, once they've got that information, they've got everything they need to not only take your money but steal your identity.
She reminds job seekers to do some research on the prospective employer. Duncan says scammers will often go after young adults because of their lack of life experience, assuming they can be easily duped.
The two times when you are really vulnerable with the amount of information you're providing is when you rent an apartment and when you apply for a job.
Many of these crooks will turn to places like Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram to find their victims.
Scammers are definitely using social media platforms more frequently for all kinds of scams, whether it's investment cryptocurrency, romance scams, online purchase scams still come in at number 3. Employment scams have moved up to number 2, and social media is where they go.
She reminds young adults to closely guard their personal financial information and passwords. Duncan also recommends they get in the habit of shredding their financial statements. And that will be wrapping up your KCIM Midday News for this Tuesday, August 25th, 2026. I'm Nathan Cones reporting.